In this video, you will learn how to use different bold materials like chalk pastels, bleeding tissue paper, and India ink. First, start by putting your name and your class on your Scale Builder sheet. These are our chalk pastels. They're divided into warm colors, cool colors, and neutral colors. And you'll have a small container of Sta-Flo, which we'll use later on. To use chalk pastels, you're drawing just like you would with oil pastels, but you can tell that they're different even though they're the same shape and the same color as oil pastels. But oil pastels are sticky and chalk pastels are powdery, so they can easily blend using just the tip of your finger. So it's nice to use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel or very like each other, like our warm colors and our cool colors, and then you can blend them together. I make a strawberry here, but you could make whatever you want. Next, we're going to do chalk pastels with liquid starch. So first you'll put on your chalk pastels. Notice that I'm using only my warm colors here. You could use only your cool colors or any other colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. These are called analogous colors. When you have put all the colors on that you want, you're going to use liquid starch on top to blend your colors together, and this will help it from not being powdery anymore. When this dries, you would be able to use other materials on top to draw or paint. Next is texture plates with crayons. For now, we're going to skip over number 3, and we'll come back to it in just a little bit. So for texture plates with crayons, you'll get this box that has some peeled crayons already in it. Take a texture plate and place it underneath your paper. Then you're going to take your crayon and place it on its side. Not using the point of the crayon, but the side of the crayon. You rub back and forth on your paper against the texture plate, and it will leave fun designs on your paper. Number 5 is bleeding tissue paper, which can be found in the drawer underneath our right sink. For this, you'll use just one of the bleeding tissue papers and use just regular water with a paintbrush, painting on top of the bleeding tissue paper. It will leave a tie-dye effect on your paper. Again, I use just water on a brush on top of the bleeding tissue paper, and it makes it look tie-dye underneath on the paper below. Our last one is India ink. With India ink, this is permanent, so make sure that you don't spill the cup or get it on your clothes. It will not come out of clothes. It does come off of your skin. I use the very tip of my brush to draw with the India ink. So rather than painting like using the side of our brush, here with our India ink, we are just using the very tip of the brush and drawing designs with it. It acts a lot like a Sharpie. And finally, we'll come back to number 3. Here I'm going to be using black glue and chalk pastels. I draw first with my pencil. I drew a bird, but you can draw whatever you want. Then you're going to go over your pencil lines, squeezing the bottle of glue just barely, very, very carefully squeezing the bottle of glue to go over your pencil lines with the black glue. This is going to give us a border or a boundary to keep the chalk pastels in after it dries. The black glue will dry overnight, so you'll have to come back and add your chalk pastels after it's dry next time you come to art. Thanks for learning new bold materials that you can use in your artworks.